When you talk about transforming your life before 2026, you have to start with the one thing most people underestimate, overlook, and honestly avoid: your mornings. Because your mornings are not just the beginning of your day, they are the beginning of your discipline, the beginning of your mindset, the beginning of the version of you that you're trying to become. And the truth is, most people lose the battle for their future before the sun even comes up. Not because they're lazy, not because they don't have talent, but because their mornings are on autopilot. They wake up reacting instead of creating. They wake up surviving instead of leading. They wake up scrolling instead of focusing. And you cannot build a powerful life on a powerless morning. When you wake up early with intention, you send a signal to your future. Asterisk, I'm serious about this. Asterisk, you send a signal to your goals. Asterisk, I'm committed. Asterisk, you send a signal to your distractions. Asterisk, you don't own me. Asterisk, that one choice getting up before the world pulls you in 100 directions becomes the difference between drifting and directing. You think it's small, but small is the seed of great. Small is where transformation quietly starts growing. Most people say they don't have time. No, they do. They just haven't claimed their time. They're giving it away before they even get out of bed. And if you don't own your mornings, something else will. The news will. Social media will. Stress will. Deadlines will. People's expectations will. And the moment your day starts belonging to everything outside of you, you've already surrendered the life inside you. But imagine waking up with clarity instead of chaos. Imagine waking up with focus instead of frenzy. Imagine waking up and giving the first part of your day to the person who needs you the most. Asterisk, the future you. Asterisk, that version of you who is waiting on discipline, waiting on commitment, waiting on consistency. You owe that version of you your mornings. Because that version of you is built in the quiet moments when nobody is watching, when nobody is cheering, when nobody even knows you're changing except you. It doesn't have to be extreme. Nobody is asking you to run a marathon at sunrise or meditate on a mountain. It starts with something simple: 10 minutes to breathe, 10 minutes to read, 10 minutes to plan, 10 minutes to pray, 10 minutes to stretch, 10 minutes to visualize the life you said you wanted. You give 10 minutes to everything else all day without thinking. Give 10 minutes to your purpose, because small seeds grow into big fruit when you plant them consistently. And the magic happens when your morning becomes a ritual, not something you do when you're motivated, not something you do when life feels easy, but something you do because it aligns with who you are becoming. You stop waking up at the mercy of life and start waking up in mastery of it. You stop waking up tired and start waking up trusted by your future. You stop waking up trying to catch up and start waking up already ahead. Your morning becomes a contract between you and the greatness you're chasing. And once you sign it, once you commit to it, once you protect it, everything in your life shifts, your energy changes. Your discipline sharpens, your thinking expands, your decisions become more intentional. You stop apologizing for wanting more. You stop negotiating with your old patterns. You stop allowing yesterday to control today. And without even realizing it, you start living like someone who knows exactly where they're going. And that's where transformation begins, not in the big moments that everyone sees, but in the small wins that nobody notices. The small choices you make before the noise begins. The quiet hours where you build a louder future. The early mornings where your dreams finally have room to breathe. Own your morning, and your morning will return the favor with a life you never thought you could reach. When you really look at your life, at the places where you've been stuck, where you've been frustrated, where you've been saying next year will be different, you eventually realize something powerful. It's not the big obstacles holding you back. It's the small excuses, the tiny justifications, the quiet stories you tell yourself that sound harmless but steal your potential. Every time you say, I'll start tomorrow, every time you say, I'm too tired, Every time you say, "I'll do it when I feel ready," you're giving your goals away piece by piece. And the hardest part is, most people don't even notice it happening. Excuses don't arrive loudly, they whisper. They come disguised as logic, as comfort, as self-protection, but they do the same thing every time. They take from you slowly, silently, consistently. The truth is, transformation doesn't come from waiting for motivation to strike. It comes from choosing movement over excuses. Because you don't rise when you feel powerful. You rise when you choose power in the moments you feel weak. You don't grow when everything is easy. You grow when you lean into the small actions that feel uncomfortable, inconvenient, or insignificant. Those are the moments that shape you. Those are the decisions that build your character. Those are the tiny victories that eventually create the life you've been dreaming about. People think progress is about taking giant leaps. It's not. Progress is about stacking small wins. And small wins don't require talent. They don't require luck. They don't require perfect timing. They only require that you stop negotiating with your old habits and start honoring your new commitments. 1 page a day turns into books. 1 walk a day turns into strength. 1 conversation a day turns into opportunity. 1 hour of work every evening turns into a skill set that changes your entire income. 1 small action done consistently beats massive effort done occasionally every single time. What you have to understand is this: consistency builds confidence. Not the fake confidence that comes from hype, but the real confidence that comes from proving to yourself every day that you do what you say you will do. And when you build that kind of trust with yourself, excuses lose their power. They can show up, but they can't stay. They can whisper, but they can't convince you. They can tempt you, but they can't control you. It doesn't matter how slow you start. What matters is that you start, and that you keep starting every single day, even when the progress feels invisible. Because right before your life changes on the outside, something shifts on the inside. You begin to feel different. You begin to think different. You begin to walk with a little more conviction. You begin to show up for yourself without needing applause. And that internal transformation always happens before the external blessings show up. You've been waiting for a big break, but what you really need is a breakthrough in your daily patterns. You've been waiting for the perfect moment, but the perfect moment is built, not found. You've been waiting for inspiration, but inspiration grows out of action, not the other way around. Every time you choose 1 small win over 1 familiar excuse, you're building the muscle that will carry you through every challenge that comes your way. And I promise you this: those small wins add up in ways you can't even imagine right now. One day you'll look back and realize the transformation didn't come from a single decision. It came from a collection of tiny disciplined moments you chose when nobody was watching. Those moments built your resilience. Those moments sharpened your vision. Those moments taught you that you were capable of far more than you ever allowed yourself to believe. The life you want in 2026 isn't waiting on perfection. It's waiting on your next small win. When you talk about transforming your life before 2026, you cannot ignore the environment you're living in and the people you're surrounded by. Because the truth is simple: you don't rise alone and you don't fall alone. Every person in your life is either pulling you forward or holding you still. And most people never reach their next level, not because they lack ability, but because they stay connected to circles that keep them small. They stay loyal to comfort over growth. They stay tied to people who don't see their vision, don't support their growth, and don't respect their purpose. And that silent pull, that invisible pressure, becomes the chain that slows everything down. You've got to understand something. Your life responds to the energy around you. If you surround yourself with people who complain, you begin to complain. If you surround yourself with people who settle, you start settling. If you surround yourself with people who only talk dreams but never take action, eventually you'll find yourself doing the same thing, dreaming big but moving small. And that's how years pass without progress. Not because you didn't want more, but because you didn't realize the people around you were shaping your decisions, your habits, your expectations, your standards. But when you shift your circle, your future shifts with it. When you start spending more time with people who challenge you instead of comforting you, something inside you wakes up. When you surround yourself with individuals who are disciplined, focused, hungry, and purpose-driven, you begin to feel uncomfortable being anything less than your best. Their consistency forces you to question your excuses. Their determination makes your procrastination feel out of place. Their growth reminds you that you have more inside you than you've been using. And that's the power of the right circle. It stretches you even when you don't realize you're being stretched. Sometimes the biggest breakthrough isn't about adding something to your life. It's about subtracting something from your life. The conversations you entertain shape the world you experience. The energy you tolerate becomes the energy you absorb. The standards of your circle become the standards you live by. And before you know it, your entire direction is being influenced without you even noticing. That's why you must protect your environment like your future depends on it, because it does. It doesn't mean you cut people off with anger or bitterness. It means you rise in such a way that the people who are not meant for your future naturally fall away. It means you choose growth over guilt. It means you stop apologizing for wanting more out of your life. It means you stop shrinking to fit into rooms that no longer align with who you're becoming. You can still love people from a distance while loving your destiny up close. And when you begin to intentionally build a circle that matches your ambition, everything in your life elevates. Your conversations become richer, your goals become clearer, your habits become sharper, your mindset becomes stronger. You start to see possibilities you never recognized before. You start to believe in outcomes you used to doubt. You start to feel momentum, real momentum, because your environment is no longer fighting against your future. Transformation is not just internal work, it's environmental work. You can have a big dream and still stay stuck if you keep surrounding yourself with small thinking. You can have fire in your spirit and still lose your way if you keep letting people pour water on it. You can have greatness inside you and still settle if you keep letting voices around you convince you that good enough is enough. Your circle is your climate. It determines whether you grow or whether you wilt. And before 2026 arrives, one of the most powerful changes you can make is choosing to be around people who see your value, respect your direction, and push you to become the strongest version of yourself. Protect your circle, and your circle will protect your future. When you talk about transforming your life before 2026, you have to be brutally honest about one thing. Your habits are either building your future or breaking it. Not your wishes, not your intentions, not the goals you write down on a clean page every January. Your habits. The quiet routines, the hidden patterns, the automatic behaviors you repeat without even thinking. Those are the architects of your destiny. And the hardest part, most people never stop long enough to audit them. They want a new life, but they keep recycling the same habits that built the old one. They keep hoping for change while holding on to patterns that guarantee everything stays the same. If you want to elevate your life, you have to start looking at the small things you do every single day with the same seriousness you look at your big dreams. Because success isn't about the grand moment. It's about the consistent rhythms that shape your discipline when nobody is watching. It's the way you talk to yourself when the room is silent. It's the choices you make when no one will know. It's the commitments you keep even when the feeling that made you commit is gone. That's where growth lies. That's where transformation starts. Every habit you have is shaping your identity, your confidence, your energy, your focus, your patience, your self-respect. And you can't build a winning future with losing habits. You can't create a strong mind with weak routines. You can't expect transformation when you're still entertaining patterns that pull you backward. The truth is, your habits tell the story of your priorities, not your words. If you say you want growth but your habits feed comfort, you're lying to yourself. If you say you want success but your habits favor distraction, you're holding yourself back. If you say you want change but your habits are the same ones you had last year, you're delaying your own breakthrough. But here's the power. You don't need to overhaul everything overnight. You just need to choose one habit and upgrade it. Because one habit done consistently becomes a ripple, and ripples turn into waves, and waves turn into transformation. Drinking more water might seem small, but it affects your energy, your clarity, your mood. Reading 10 minutes a day feels tiny, but it expands your thinking, strengthens your perspective, sharpens your decisions. Moving your body for even a few minutes changes your confidence and resets your discipline. Choosing to plan your day, choosing to budget your money, choosing to organize your space, these might feel insignificant at first, but they are the quiet foundations of a stronger, more intentional life. The key is honesty. You must be willing to look at your habits and say, this one is helping me, and this one is hurting me. And then you must choose differently, not emotionally, not when you feel inspired, consistently, because the person you become is the result of the habits you guard and the habits you release. Your life will rise to the level of your patterns, not your promises. And the beautiful thing is, once you start changing your habits, even slightly, you start seeing yourself differently. You start feeling more capable. You start trusting yourself more. You start believing in possibility again. Momentum isn't magic. It's maintenance. You build it with repetition, not luck. And every time you choose the habit that aligns with your future instead of the habit that comforts your past, you're reminding yourself who you are and who you're becoming. This is how transformation happens quietly, steadily, daily. It begins in the small corners of your routine where nobody sees you, and it grows until the results become too big for the world to ignore. And before you know it, the person you see in the mirror no longer matches the person you used to be. The upgrade happened one habit at a time. Audit your habits, upgrade them, and your entire future will upgrade with them.